back to Admission and Scholarship Hacks Masterclass. Of course, you're still with Dr. Linda Iheme, and today we'll be talking about curriculum vitae. As for short, you call it CV, right? So this is an essential document that you need for admission. There's almost no admission that you're going to apply for that you're not going to need CV. Okay, so it's a very essential document, and I'll call your attention right now to concentrate, because this, what we're going to treat today, is going to save you a whole lot of stress. How do you create a CV that is wow? When the admission committee sees it, they are going to be like, wow, who is this candidate? We want you in our school. Isn't that what you're looking for? Well, let's get started. So the first question for you is, what's the purpose of CV? Do you know? I'll tell you. The purpose of CV is to introduce yourself to the admission committee. Okay? Think about it this way. We all have people around us, friends, family, siblings that know us, right? So it's like if I was to ask your mom, I don't want to say brother or sister because you may not have one, but I know that everyone has a mom, right? So if we were to ask your mom about you, she'll have one or two things to say. If we were to ask you about yourself, you have one or two things to say. But if you ask me about you, maybe what I just know is your name, or any other information you submitted when you were trying to get this course, right? That's probably what I know. What else do I know about you? Similarly, this is how the admission committee, we only know maybe just your name and the information you filled in your application form. They don't know anything about you, yet they want to know you. They want to understand who you are in order to make a decision on whether to give you admission or not. And it is important that you give them the representation of who you are. In fact, better than who you are, right? That should be the aim. I want you to know something. There is the you in real life, and there is the you on your CV. You can be the most important person in this world, right? You can be you can be everything you want to be, but without writing it on your CV, the next person, the member of the admission committee, does not know you. So let's take, for example, there was this particular guy I was working with some time ago. He has done awesome things. He has done a lot. Like, he won several awards. He has been on YALI. If you know YALI, I think Young African Leaders Initiative by Barack Obama. This guy has done a lot. He runs an NGO. He has gone to many places and won several awards. But when I looked at his CV, it looked scanty. So I said, where is the award that you won? Oh, well, I didn't want to put it on my CV. Where is this? Oh, I didn't want to put it on my CV. And I said to him, I have the opportunity to talk with you. That's why I can know that, oh, you did all these things. The admission committee may not have that opportunity to talk with you in order for you to now explain to them exactly what you have done and what you have not done. They are going to be looking for those things on your CV. You're going to be looking for them on your CV. So you can be anything you want to be, but without writing it on your CV, nobody knows, and it will not count. However, on another hand, you can be everything you want to be, and then write all those things on your CV so that the next person reading your CV will know exactly the kind of person you are. That is the purpose of CV. Okay? So keep that in your mind. That is the purpose of CV. A great CV needs building blocks. Okay? A great CV needs building block, and we're going to talk about the building block of a CV right now. Okay? We're going to talk about it, but keep it in your mind that sometimes when you say CV, people are like, oh, CV, yeah, I know what CV is. It's not that document that has my name, my address, and where I schooled. It's much more than that, my dear. So let's talk about it. Now, the admission committee, before you go into writing your CV, bear something in mind. The admission committee, they are looking for change makers. Okay? They are looking for change makers. That is, people who have been able to do something in their community. Do you know why? You can say you're a change maker, my dear, but if you have not done anything since they gave birth to you, where you exist, there is no guarantee that you're going to do something in future. So that thing they say, that the easiest way to know that somebody can handle something big is how they handle the small thing. So if the admission committee are looking for change makers, you must be able to prove that to them through your CV and other documents you're going to submit. They are also looking for risk takers. You know why? Because risk takers are more likely to succeed in life. They don't want to waste their admission position on someone that is a nobody, or somebody that is going to go on to become nobody. So they want to see that, are you the kind of person that take risk in life? They'll be like, who knows the kind of risk you may take? Let me give you an example. The people that founded say Facebook or internet or computers, they took risk with their lives, right? And now they changed the world. Those are the kind of people that admission committee are looking for. Now, you may not be Mark Zuckerberg or the founder of Microsoft. You may not be Bill Gates, right? You may not be, but you are unique in your own ways. But show them that you're a risk taker. Then they are also looking for leaders. Leaders, because resources are limited. Think about it. Take, for example, if you were in their position, you have one slot, but there are 5 students. One is the leader, the rest are not. The rest are followers. Who will you give that slot? Be sincere to yourself. We all give it to the leader, because we even feel like if this leader can succeed, he can help the rest. So admission committees are looking for leaders. You must prove that you're a leader, and one way to prove it is, or that's one way to prove that you're a change maker, you are a risk taker, or you are a leader, is through your CV. Because they don't know you, they've never seen you before, but your CV will introduce you to them and explain to them that really you are one or all of these things that they're looking for. So also, you must show that you're an expatriate. You must show that you're an expatriate. So your CV, some people, let me give you an example now. You see somebody that will just be like, I graduated school 6 years ago. Since that time, there's no single work experience. There's nothing on their CV that shows that they've been busy changing the world or changing their environment or changing themselves, right? Those kind of persons, they know that when we bring you to our country, there's nothing you're coming here to add. You see the point? So because of that, it will count negatively against you. Know that you are an expatriate and let your CV show that you are an expatriate. Let me give you an example. So many things that you think that they are not important, just by putting them on your CV, somebody is going to have an idea of who you are. Let's say, for example, you see my CV. You see all the places I've volunteered. You see all the courses I've taken, not degree courses. So let's say I've taken courses on leadership. I've taken courses on civic engagement. As additional training that I've done, what will come to your mind? This person is always in a mood. Is always making effort to improve his or herself, right? That's what I'm talking about. Your CV tells a lot. Don't take it for granted. So let's go to the content of CV, and we're going to start with what? I divided the content into, I'll say, two portions, and we're going to talk about it. So the first one is the one that just have it's more like listing the things that you already have. We'll start with your name, right? So you want to list your name the way you have listed it on the application or on the application portal, which should also be the way you want to list it on your, say, international passport, okay? So that is how to list your name. Like, write your full name. Don't let it be that your application, the name you filled in application is, say, Linda Iheme, and then on your CV you have Ogechi Linda Iheme. The person looking for your CV may just be looking for Linda, and now see that I'm not able to find this lady's CV. Where is it? Right? So make sure that you are consistent with your name and list your full name. I know some people will say, my certificate has a different name. This usually come mostly from ladies. They be like, I got married, I have a different name on my certificate, I have a different name on my say international passport. Maybe they got the international passport after they got married. What name should I use? The question is, the answer is use your current name. Okay, use your current name. So let's say my name is Linda Iheme, right? And then let's say I got married and I changed my name to Linda Pajo. My certificate will be a Linda Iheme because mostly that's what I was using as undergrad. But now, let's say my current name is Linda Pajo, and my international passport is Linda Pajo. On my application or CV, I should put Linda Pajo, okay? Because that's what is on my international passport. The question is, then how will they know that your certificate and the person doing the application is for the same person, right? So one way to do that is to include change of name documents, okay? When you change your name, you should actually do it officially. I think it comprises of an affidavit from court and maybe a newspaper publication. This is what is obtainable in my country. I don't know about your country. So add change of name document. And if you don't see where to upload it when you are doing your application, you can upload it under additional documents, or you can contact the graduate coordinator to tell them about your situation, and they will tell you exactly where to upload that name. But use your current name. What name are you answering currently? Use that name. Okay, if it's different from the other ones, add change of name documents. So put your email. Revise your email to make sure it's not there's no error. There have been times when I submitted my CV somewhere and there was error in my email. People are getting back to me, but I'm not able to see the letter. So be conscious of that, okay? And then put your correct phone number. When you put your phone number, add your country code. Let's say you are from Nigeria and your number is 080 blah 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 blah. Country code for Nigeria is +234. You see, so when you want to write your number, don't just write 080 something something, because the person may not remember your country code, and that may just be the reason the person will not call you and the person will pick another candidate. So add your country code when you are writing your phone number. Okay, then put your address. Make sure that it's an address that if they post something to you, you'll be able to get it. Now the next category of things to add to your CV is what? Your education history. So your education history, you go with year, the course, and the school. Say the year 2018, the name of the course is dentistry. The school is University of Benin, and you put them, if possible, put them on one line, but separate them with gaps. Year, course, and school, just as you are seeing, just as I've written on the slide. Okay, so make sure that you have a different heading. So all these things I'm talking about, they are headings, right? So contact details is heading. Under your contact detail, you put all the details, right? Name, email, phone number. Then education history is a heading. Put your education history. Now, under your education history, only put the courses that you got degree for, right? Like your BSc, your Masters, your PhD, your postgraduate diploma, your graduate certificate. In fact, let me rephrase. Only put programs that you have a transcript for. I don't mean that whether you have the transcript at hand. No, but whether the school is able to give you transcript or not should determine whether you'll be able to put that education. And I'll give you an example. Some people, they read nursing, then they went on to do one nursing, advanced nursing training, let's say midwifery. I've spoken to a lot of them. They will say, oh, my school is not able to provide me transcripts. Then don't put it under your education history. Instead, move it to the next heading, which is additional trainings received. Okay, so under additional training received is where you put any course that you did that you don't have transcript for. So this comes with let's say you took an online course, right? Maybe you just have a certificate for it. You know, it's not like the way you have masters, postgraduate diploma and all that. So put that under additional training received. Let's say some medical people as well. You see somebody, a medical doctor, have gone for residency training. Put that under additional training received, because anything you put under your education history, the main education history, they are going to ask you for transcript, and if you don't have the transcript, it will delay your application. And sometimes you can't even get transcript for this thing, which may just be a reason why you will not be able to complete your application. So anything you don't have transcript for, move it into additional trainings received. And under additional training received, if you don't have anything to put there, put that column. Go and take an online course. There are many online courses that are 1 month, 2 weeks, 1 week. In fact, some of them, they will give you in terms of modules, and you can finish it in 1 day or 2 days. Take those kind of courses and put them under additional training received. Take courses on leadership, on civic engagement, on entrepreneurship, something to show that person that you're a forward-thinking person. Okay? I have some clients that during the COVID pandemic, they went to go and take courses on how to respond to pandemic and all that, and they put it on their CV. You know, that thing is eye-catchy. Imagine somebody reviewing your application after the pandemic and seeing that you took a course that has to do with the pandemic. You know, everything is strategy. So now let's go to the other ones, which is the content, and pay special attention to this. Okay, pay special attention to this. So now we have leadership positions held. Leadership positions held. Whether you have held any leadership position or not, I want you to pay attention to this and look for, if you have not held, go and hold. So leadership position held. Under leadership position held, what can you put them? Don't think of all the big leadership positions. Start with the small ones. If you have the big ones, good and fine. If you were your class representative sometime in school, if you were head girl, put it there. If you were the assistant class rep, put it there. If you're a choir leader in your church, put it there. Any form of leadership. If you are the home manager in your home, put it there. You think it's useless? It's not. Everything adds together, because I'm going to come to the magic number, which is 10. I want you to be able to put list positions, minimum of 10 under each, right? Because if I tell you I was my class representative in school, you'll be like, okay, cool. But if I tell I was my class representative, I was the head girl of my school, I'm currently the youth leader in my church, and what comes to your mind? This person is a leader. So the more the number that makes sense, the better for you, and the more is able to communicate the message that you are truly this kind of person. Now another column, right, is volunteer experiences. Always have a column for volunteer experiences on your CV. Make it compulsory. So under volunteer experiences, put any time you have done anything worthy that you were not paid for it. For example, when I was before I went abroad to study, there were a lot of times I was volunteering. I'll go for community outreaches and all that. I put all those things. You are still wondering what to put under your volunteer experience. Some people say, I've never volunteered before. It's not likely true. You may have volunteered, you just haven't, you just don't know. Let me take, for example, there were times that in my school, some students will ask me to help them explain something, to them, right? I will explain that thing to them. On my CV, see how it shows up as a peer educator, right? So I did peer education, that is teaching my peers for free. So it's on my CV as volunteer experiences, and like there are tons of volunteer experiences. And some people, when you say volunteer experience, they will go and take 1 year volunteer opportunity. Then they will not have food to eat, and then it becomes a problem. No, you can actually volunteer online. You can volunteer offline. You can volunteer for 1 day. There are many places. For example, you can have all this online volunteering. Sports online, like there's this United Nations online volunteer where you just go. What you can do something as small as help an organization post something on social media. You see, so look for volunteer opportunities and add them. Don't go for the 1 year volunteer experiences. Go for the short time volunteer experiences so that you can have as many as possible. List minimum of 10. And people have asked this question. You don't need certificates to be able to put the volunteer work on your CV. Provided you did it, put it there. Nobody's going to be asking you for certificate to show as proof, right? So provided you did it, put it there. So even if you don't have volunteer experiences today, between now and the next 1 week, you can actually get like 7 volunteer experiences. Go online and find a way, right? Then on ground too, if you volunteer to help someone look after their child, you can put that. If you volunteer to give the homeless something, you can put that. There are multiple opportunities. In fact, go online and Google volunteer opportunities. You're going to see me. Take advantage of it. The next column is awards. Okay, that's very important. Any single award you've gotten, whether you were given a plaque, whether you were given a certificate, whether it was just verbal recognition without any of those, put it under your awards. Minimum of 10. Struggle, find them. You have them. Think of your life. Start thinking of your life from the last time you can remember. Say from when you were 5. Was there any time you won anything? Best in class, best in church, best in dance group, best in anywhere, or second this? Put them on under your awards section. Okay. Now then you have research experiences. Make a column for research experiences and put it there. Whether you are applying for postgraduate diploma program or you're applying for course-based program that is not research-based, if you put research experiences under your CV, you will definitely stand out from a lot of people. What can you put under research experiences? You will now see that anything you have done that is research-oriented. So many people that did their undergraduate, they finished with a project. That project is a research project, right? So put it under your research experiences. Now, what some people do is that they'll just put research experience in final year projects. What does that even mean, right? During your final year, there were things you did. There were things you say you went to collect data in order to do your research. Write it as one, name the place you went to collect the data. Say you went to say you did some research online in order, let's say, literature review. Put it. Don't clump everything together into one research experience, because each of them is a research experience. Each of the processes you had to go through, right? So if you were collecting data or doing review, or you have worked with somebody to help them collect data, whether it was paid or not paid. There was a time I helped somebody where I was doing my house job. A doctor said I should come and help her. She will collect the data from the patient. I will help her give papers to the patients to sign, like the consent form. That's what it's called. When I was writing my CV, I put it there that, hey, this is I helped somebody with data collection. You see, put it there. Always look for means. Any opportunity you've had before to do research related stuff should come under your research experience. Now, teaching experience, put it as another heading. Some people may not have, but think well to be sure. If you have any form of teaching you've done before, you taught your classmates, you taught your juniors, you taught in whatever form, write it under teaching experience. Then employment history. Make sure that any work you've done, put it under your employment history. Some people will tell me that, oh, I just graduated, I have not worked before. Okay, so maybe you've not worked before, but you're at home. What do you currently do at home? Give it a title and put it as work experience. Okay, nobody is going to ask you to bring pay stub or the pay slip of whatever you did. So never ever keep it empty, because when you keep it empty, you are saying that you are less than the next candidate. And I'm telling you, if you sit down and think of all these things and have all these headings for your CV, before you know it, your CV is like 3 pages, 4 pages, or even more, depending. But try not to make it more than 5 pages, right? So your CV should never really be less than 2 pages. So by the time you put all these things, you will see that it's already a lot. And somebody looking at that your CV will say, this person is an exceptional candidate. Then look at research papers and publications. If you have published before, put it under research papers and publication. If you have not published before, but that your final year project, write it as your research paper. Okay? Write it there. But if it's published, indicate that it's published. If it is not published, don't say not published. Just write it. Okay, you get what I mean? I'm sure you got me. If it's published, put that you published it. If it's not published, don't say not published, just write it. Okay, so put something under your research paper and publication. Now there can be as many columns as possible. See what I do, and you, everybody may end up having something extra to add to their CV. There was a client I worked with. This client published a lot online, right? Like he write blogs for environmental related thing. I say put another column there and put let's say put blogs, and then put the links to the blog, the name and the links to the blogs that you shared. You see the point? So this may not apply to everybody, but why I put order there is that when you see something that is special to you, make a separate heading for it. Do you know why? When you put it under another heading, it will be hidden. Nobody will see it. Like I have people, clients that have written a book in one way or the other. Put a different heading, published books. Write the title of the book. You know, when you're talking to a candidate and you see that candidate has written a book, think about it. But you may write that book and you may forget to put it on your CV, and so it doesn't count for you. Take every opportunity to include any good thing you've done before on your CV, because this is different from your normal work resume, okay? So how many things to list do you have to list under each heading? I say minimum of 10. That doesn't mean if you don't have 10, you have not you can't apply, right? But struggle to make it 10 each. It will help you. Okay? Now, do you need certificate for the things you have to list? No, you don't need certificate. But it must be sinking, and it must be convincing and in sync, okay? What does that mean? For example, how do I put it now? Let's say on my CV, I just want to look for a very good example for you. While I'm thinking about that, one thing is that anything you want to write should be convincing. You don't want to go and write something that is almost impossible for anybody to do. A worst case, if it's a lie. Somebody would say, if you want to lie the believable lie. Okay, if you want to lie the believable lie. Don't go and tell the kind of lie that nobody's going to believe you, or they will easily find out online, right? Then you'll be doing yourself harm. Like, let's say you go and say, I published a paper, and then you put the name and everything. Somebody will easily copy and paste on Google. And worst case scenario, you didn't publish any paper. That is the end of your admission. That's just the end. Okay, so the point is, I know that some people, they'll add some things to their CV to make it look better. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Somebody wants to say CV is not a legal document. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but it must be convincing. Okay, so now what shouldn't you add to your CV? Don't add your age. Don't add your age to your CV. Don't put your sex to your CV, because a lot of schools, they try not to, they don't want you to add this thing so that it does not bias the mind of the person or review your application. Let me say, for example, you go and put that your date of birth. Say you are 60 years old. You know, the person may just be looking like, this old man, I better make I give out to the young person. However, nobody asked you for your age, right? Don't put your age on your CV. Don't put your sex on your CV. You don't need to put your country on your CV, or state or province. Don't put it. I know a lot of people put that on your CV. Take it out. It's irrelevant. It's not helping them make the decision they need to make. In fact, most times it bias the decision and make it not in your favor. Okay? Don't put your social media address. Let it be that if they want to check you out on social media, let them go and find out how to find you on social media. Okay? So don't put your social media handles. Some people will say, oh, LinkedIn, this, email. No, it's not necessary. Now, sometimes you may want to look at other people's CV. I once said this, like, I had a client, after she wrote her CV, she told me that in her town, there's one primary school teacher. She gave the CV to the primary school teacher to review. And this person is going for PhD. And I know that primary school teacher probably doesn't even have a master's degree. Probably doesn't have PhD, right? These are school teacher. But What I kept wondering was that, why will you do that? You want to look at the CV of students who are already abroad, okay, or students or people that you know that have already traveled abroad to study. Those should be the kind of people maybe assisting you with reviewing your CV, or telling you, like, you maybe you want to look at their their own CV to see something you should add. And whenever you get the opportunity to get somebody's CV, don't just copy and paste on your own CV. Just read it and let it remind you of things to add, okay, to your own CV. Do not copy. Use CVs as guide. Okay. Another way for you to improve your CV is to look at CV templates from Google. Okay, so you can just go to Google, types. Let's say I'm applying for public health, and my country is Canada. You know what I will do? I'll go and put CV for public health graduate students in Canada. That would give you an example of what they are putting on their CV. It will just help you remember what to add so that your CV stays stronger and exceptional. When you go to Google, when you type the name, don't go to news. You know, Google has different heading. Go to templates. That will help you, or templates or images. That's where you're going to see a lot of the templates, images. So look at the images. That's where you see somebody's CV and the way it's arranged. So just take inspiration from those samples. Okay. Escape route. I know, as I've been saying all these things that I've been saying since, somebody will be like, Dr. Linda, oh, hey, I don't have any. I don't have any of these things you've mentioned. Don't worry. The first thing you should do is what? Think and add. So you may think that you don't have, but when you sit down and start thinking all through your life, you will notice one or two things to add. The second one is, there are many things that you think they are irrelevant, right? That's why I say add irrelevant things, asterisks. It doesn't mean go and add that you were drinking coffee one day. You know, that's totally irrelevant. But you can actually add something that, let's say, you took care of your grandmother before she died, and you don't have anything to add on your CV. Put that, because they will just say, oh, this person is a caring person. And of course, this start coming in when you feel that you don't have anything to add and your CV is so scanty. Instead of submitting a scanty CV, it's better to add some of those things you may think they are irrelevant. They may just be your saving grace, right? Now, I say take advantage of one-day volunteer opportunities. I know a lot of people don't have volunteer experience, or they've not done any volunteer work. Don't go and be looking for 1 year volunteer work. Look for something that you can do online, few hours, or a place you can volunteer 1 day, and you've already gotten it. Write it on your CV. You see that in 7 days you can have 7 volunteer experiences, and sometimes you can have more. The other one is, let's say, despite all these things that I said, you are like, Dr. Linda, I hear you, yet I don't still have anything to add. One thing you can do is what? Make a plan. Give yourself, say, the next 12 months. Start working on improving your CV today. Trust me, you'll be better. In the next 1 month, you won't even believe how fat your CV will become. Okay? Be intentional. And I say, make 12 months plan, because of people that will over complain. Because from now till the time you are applying for school, right, what you can, if you start improving your CV, you see that in the next 1 month or 2 months you have so many things to add. Take classes online, take online certification, and you just be fine. Okay, so this is it about curriculum vitae. Let me tell you okay, I'm not trying to bias you, but most of my clients, they've said that the CV lecture is one thing that they really love, because my guess is that it helps you bring out some of the things you didn't know you could add on your CV. And I hope you enjoyed the lecture too, right? So your task for today is for you to go and prepare your CV. And what you can do is you can actually rewatch this lecture, and for all those headings that I talked about, screenshot them or write them down on your notepad, or play the lecture. By the time you get to that place, pause it, take down all the different headings, right? Then start adding to it. You know the magic number, right? Minimum of 10 under each column, and your CV will be so wild that the admission committee want to admit you today. All right, till I see you again in next class.